So if you are someone out there that is looking for a small Android tablet, but you also might be wanting a cheap Android tablet, this is going to be a good tablet to look at. This is the Lenovo Tab One. So let's get into it and let's check it out in my full review. So there aren't a lot of channels out there that will talk about cheaper Android tablets. Now there are a lot of channels complaining, of course, about cheap Android stuff. Oh, Android stuff is terrible. Getting a $100 tablet is so bad. Why don't you go spend $300, $400, $500 on an iPad? And for those people, look, I get it. They like their ecosystem and they like their iPads, of course. But some of us just want something to do the basics on. And if that's you, this tablet might be the way to go. Tablets are getting larger and larger now. We have 11-inch tablets, 12-inch tablets, and even 14-inch tablets. But all of these smaller tablets, the size of the Nexus 7, and those tablets we used to love like the Galaxy Tab 4, those are long gone, and now we don't have a lot out there. That's where this tablet comes in. Under 9 inches in size, this is the successor to the Lenovo Tab M9. So this is an 8.7-inch tablet, so it is a little bit smaller, which is very, very good to see. Now it does come with just 4 gigabytes of RAM, of course, only 64 gigabytes of storage in the base model. So again, if you are someone who cares about extra RAM, well, you might want extra storage and all these things. This is not going to be the tablet for you. A lot of the people that watch my stuff, if they're looking for a cheaper tablet, something like the Galaxy Tab A9 Plus might suit them, or maybe the Galaxy Tab S9 FE, something around $200 to $400 might be better for a lot of people out there. But if you buy a tablet like this, you need to learn a little patience. This tablet, it's going to open up some apps. It's going to take a few seconds to open them up for the first time. And once those apps are open, you're going to be able to do what you need to do. You're going to be able to check the news, no problem. Maybe you're going to scroll social media. You're going to be able to do that just fine. This is a very good tablet for reading a book. Maybe you want to open something up on Kindle and read, and that is going to be a nice option for a cheaper tablet like this. I would not say this is going to be great for playing a bunch of games or anything like that, but it's good for the basics and it's good for those people who have a little bit of patience. Of course, we have a headphone jack and we do have a speaker down here as well as your USB-C port. And there is a speaker on the top, so we do have dual speakers on this tablet. Now the back, it can get a little bit of fingerprints over time, but it's designed just fine. Of course, you do have some plastic in the build, but still, it's going to feel plenty good enough for your person looking at this price point. Now this tablet does come in at $130 on Lenovo's website, but it's been going on sale fairly frequently now, and now you could find it around $99. I'm even seeing it on Walmart and some other places. Even Best Buy has this tablet, so you might find it for $150 some places $130, and eventually when you find it on sale, of course, about $100 is what you would expect to pay here. So this tablet is all about expectations. Of course, you do get an SD card slot, you get a headphone jack. That's something to expect in budget tablets. But you are going to see other things that you're going to also notice in budget tablets. This doesn't have a 1080p screen, it doesn't have the fastest processor, it has 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of storage. So a lot of people out there that are looking for something that's going to be lightning quick. And even some $200-$300 tablets, you could go from app to app to app and go fairly smoothly doing your business. But that's not going to be what you're going to get here. But it doesn't mean this tablet isn't worth getting for some people. Some people really do want a tablet that they could pick up and open up Kindle, and they wait like a couple seconds for it to load, they click it, and they read a book. And that's what they want to do on their tablet. And this is going to be great for that. Some people might want to just pick this up and open up YouTube, and they wait a couple seconds, it loads, and then they watch a video, and they just want a little bit of a larger screen to do it on. And they just want a tablet around the house to do these basic things. If you're just doing one thing at a time on this tablet, it's going to work great. And sometimes having a small little dinky tablet around the house, it's just nice to have. So again, this does have an 8.7-inch display. It's a 1340 by 800 resolution, so it's not 1080p, but still, it does look okay. The colors are a little washed out, of course, compared to some really nicer tablets, but you don't notice it as much whenever you're on a smaller display. So it looks okay. I think it's good for reading, it's good for the basics, but no, it's not going to be quite as sharp as your smartphones out there. Even some cheaper smartphones are going to be a little bit sharper on the display. But it is good for those people, again, just wanting to pick it up, do some basic reading, and do some basic movie watching. I think if you look at the display, it does look pretty decent whenever I'm watching content, whether it's on YouTube or Netflix. If I'm watching some stuff around the internet, it does look okay here. But this tablet is all about checking your expectations. If you look at performance, for example, 4 gigabytes of RAM, and a Helio G85 processor. It's going to be slower than the Galaxy Tab A9 Plus, and it's going to be like some other tablets in the past, maybe from a couple years ago that you would find around $150 or $200. So yeah, if you do open up stuff, again, with Android 15 even, it does have Android 15, it came with Android 14 originally, it upgrades to Android 15, so that is really cool, but if you open up stuff, you're going to find out, yeah, I have to wait a couple seconds. And then you wait, and it works fine. Now, if you're going from app to app to app to app, of course it's not going to look very good on video because, well, this tablet isn't meant for that. 4 gigabytes of RAM means that it can hold 1 or 2 apps open at the same time. If you don't know what RAM even is, that RAM, the 4 gigabytes, it's meant to help you multitask. That means that if you have 8 gigabytes of RAM, maybe you could have 4 or 5 different applications running at the same time. You wouldn't have to reload that application every time you open it. But if you have 4 gigabytes, well, you might only be able to have 1 or 2 applications open at the same time. So yeah, if you're just doing 1 or 2 things, you might be able to go back and forth without reloading the app. But otherwise, if you have even 3 or 4 things open, you are going to have to reload those applications if you're going back and forth. So this is not a tablet to do multitasking on. It's really for those people that just want to pick up their tablet and read, or pick up their tablet and watch YouTube, or pick up their tablet and do the basics. And if you're okay waiting a little bit, it's going to be pretty good. It's a handy little tablet that is good for those little things, and that's about what it's good for. Of course, the battery size, it's not super big in a tablet that's this small. It's just a little over 5,000 milliamps, and that is going to get the job done. This tablet has lasted for multiple hours of screen on time whenever I'm using it, typically around 4 to 6 hours, depending on what I'm doing, and it does seem to last even if I'm not using it for quite a while. I just know when people look at this tablet, there's going to be really 2 different audiences. There's going to be one audience that maybe doesn't want to spend a ton of money, but they aren't going to want to buy a slow tablet. And I'm sorry to say, there aren't a lot of fast tablets around $100. You might find an open box version of something like the Tab A9 Plus, or you might find a deal with some of those $200 or $300 tablets. You find it open box at Best Buy, and maybe you'll get it for around $150 or $130, and you might get a good deal. But not everyone wants what you want, and not everyone has your expectations. If your expectations are to have something like that, this tablet isn't for you. You write it off, you say no big deal. Obviously, I need to spend a little bit more and get a better tablet. But some people want a tablet for $100 that can run Android and do the basics so that they could read a book, so that they could go to YouTube. Remember, if you buy a Kindle, yeah, you have decent performance on a Kindle, but a Kindle can't run all of these Android applications unless you do a bunch of crazy stuff on the back end. So if you want a tablet that could run Android, technically you could even do some emulation, by the way. It works fine with PS1 emulation. I did only emulate things I own, believe it or not, but it did seem to work with some basic stuff. But obviously, you're not going to be able to emulate PS2 games or PS3 or any of that stuff, right? But for very basic, older stuff as far as emulation, technically, it would work. So it does only have a 60 Hz refresh rate. And pretty much everything about this would scream no to the big tech influencers. And it would say, oh, give this a terrible review. It's so awful. This tablet, it's slow. And that's just really silly because it's only $100. And it's really for those people that are wanting a good bargain. Now I get it. A lot of people might just say, Zach, just go tell them to go on eBay and find one of those really old tablets. I'm sorry, but not everyone wants to buy a 4-year-old Android tablet that's going to have a terrible battery and maybe die on them. Some people want a tablet that's brand new, that has a warranty on it, that's not going to have any issues, and they just want a tablet for the basics. Of course, if you want to get some super sneaky deal, get an open box tablet that's around $200 or more. But some people want a smaller tablet, and there's not a lot of those options out there. And this is great for adults or even senior adults, people who just want a tablet for the basics and they don't mind waiting around. But for pretty much everyone else out there, if you're just looking for a good tablet that's decently fast, and if you don't need a smaller tablet, maybe you want something a little bit larger than this, well, that's when I would recommend you jump up and look at the Lenovo Tab Plus, or the M11 from Lenovo, of course, or the Galaxy Tab A9 Plus. All of those you could find anywhere between $130 and $150, all the way up to maybe $250. So $150 to $250 can get you a nice speed upgrade, and it can also get you a better display. But you're going to have to pay more, and you're not going to get this small form factor. So if you want this form factor and you want a tab for the basics, this is a great option. But if you don't really care about that, well, spend a little bit more and get a little bit more. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you like this video, please give me a like, and you could give me a sub. That would mean a ton to me, seriously. I really am trying to grow my subscribers. So if you really like Android tablet content, feel free to subscribe. And also, if you get a little bit of time, feel free to check out some other videos. Have a great day and enjoy your week.